Otaku Octagon, what's going
up?
on? How are y'all doing today? So today, something we haven't really talked about a little bit. We kind of haven't really stayed away from it, but David was kind of doing a little catching up on our end. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of the good and the bad, the good, bad, the ugly, if you will.
The ugly.
Of the Avatar live action that just came out. We're a little late. It is what it is, but we're going to kind of give our little spill on it. But first, like we always do, we're gonna hop into some news. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We're the subscribers are just ticking every day.
Yeah,
every day.
we're like
Ticking and
225 now, bro.
Yeah, like I mean that's great for us. We love it. We're road to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're only in March.
We're a quarter way through the year, so I think we're on track.
Yeah.
We're on pace.
Yeah, we're on track. We appreciate all the love that you guys are giving us, all the support. I saw one comment. I did a short, or you made the short about me talking about how it was something about I can't. It was a hot take. We were reading hot takes, and somebody really agreed with my hot take, and they said, "Yeah, you guys just earned a sub," and I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate it.
So, we're making this podcast, better and better every time we do it. So we really appreciate it. Now, the Avatar is going to be a little long, so I'm going to really boil this down to like just the three big news things that I've seen. It's kind of been a little slow news week. So obviously Dragon Ball, the manga, has taken a break. That's pretty obvious. We can understand why. Last week we talked about, we got the sad news that Toriyama did pass away. So I'm assuming they're taking a break to obviously do, traditions and to do ceremonies and to, stuff like that. So I have no problems with that. I mean, I don't really read the manga, but I do like Dragon Ball. So
something that I forgot to mention last week. One Piece also took a break because of the passing. The anime, the manga was already on a scheduled break, which is fine.
Yeah.
The anime, without any word, without any say, decided to take last week off. Now I really respect that.
Yeah, respect. So Suicide Squad, we finally get news that it is coming out in July. So the Isekai Suicide Squad is coming out. It's gonna be so dope. It's gonna be so hilarious. I can't wait for this. They just dropped another trailer last week. I believe they just dropped a new trailer for it, but it is coming out in July. We will be next week. We will be talking about what's coming up in spring of 2024. As you can see, we're kind of already prepared for it, but we're going to be talking about that coming up. Now, this one was super crazy to me because out of all the anime that I can see would be an expensive card. So you're the card guy, right? You're the card guy. I got a few cards. I got my binders with my Naruto cards from back in 2002, by the way, from Hollows. We got to talk about those. The most expensive anime card was just purchased for $150,000. The only reason why is because this was called a black. You might know the word. It's like Black Series or Black Marked. It was Black Marked or something like that, where essentially it's like the one print. You can only get one print of it or something crazy like that.
Oh yeah, different IPs have different names for like their original limited series cards, chromes, mangas. Yeah. Honestly, I don't know.
It's a PSA
Yeah, PSA credit.
Yeah, PSA graded 10. This is I Don't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. Yeah. And it sold, and it was a Black Series, PSA graded number 10 for $150,000. So they bought the card. So the original people who got the card was a PSA graded studio or like a place that does it. They bought it for $11,000, right? And then when they bought it, they graded it. Once they graded it, the value went up to $150,000.
That's bias. What?
Because they just figured out. They contacted, from what I read, they contacted the right sources, the right people. Found out that it was a black mark card, which means like the only one existent. And they jumped the market value for that specific card jumped up to $150,000. Not from them, from whoever they contacted. It jumped up to $150,000 and somebody bought it.
So you said it was black marked. I'm curious if it was purposely black marked. Like, is this like what they called? We only have one of these in the series, or if it was like one of the error card. Because I've heard in different IPs, error cards are actually worth a lot of money too. So if it was like a super special card and it was an error card, meaning there's no other card that can be even similar or close to this card, I can definitely see it shoot up to $150,000, especially with those waifu cards. If you look through any IP if it's a waifu, those are one of the most expensive cards in the whole card game. Whether it's One Piece, Dragon Ball Z, you name it. Even My Hero Academia with the bunny chick. I can't even Mirko. If you put Mirko, Toga, Ochaku on a card, money.
Yeah.
So I'm actually
So
not that surprised.
The anime men.
Mm.
You heard of them?
The anime men.
No. Yeah, it's like a I don't know, they're video creators or whatever. They bought it for 11 grand. Got it graded. It's a black label. That's what it's called.
Black label. Okay.
Yeah, black label. So they said we bought the card for 11,000 and then we graded it and it turned out to be a black label and then it sold on auction for $150,000.
Gotcha.
And it's the Rascal does not dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, and it's the chick. It's the chick, like the bunny girl.
Yeah, it's the waifu. Yeah,
it's the waifu, and it's fully Japanese card, no English, PSA graded 10.
Look here, you degenerates. I see.
Yeah, we see what you're doing.
It's okay.
You don't have to hide from us. You know what I'm saying?
You got it. He's on a wall, nice, like a portrait, picture frame around it.
I need to get some of those Naruto cards
graded.
Unless we're gonna talk about it and we're just gonna sell them. But
I mean, grading them is probably a good idea too. But it depends on what you got.
I got like these are OG 2002 Naruto cards, like the first ever what do you call it?
Print?
TCG. Yeah, like TCG print of Naruto, the first cards that ever came out. And I got a bunch of holos. I got a fully Japanese holo.
You're sitting on some money, my guy.
I got rares, super rares. I got all kinds of stuff. So I looked at the top 10 most expensive Naruto cards. I think I have one of them. Whenever I kept looking it up, it never showed me a picture of it. It showed me like, it said like an Itachi Uchiha, right? Like was number 5 or 6 or something like that. It said Itachi Uchiha Holo. And I was like, okay. So I looked up Itachi Uchiha Holo expensive and I clicked images, but then showed me a million different images. And I'm like, I have that one, but I don't have that one. But I have that one, but I don't have that one. And then I looked at the list and I clicked on the list. They didn't put pictures on the list. And I'm like, I don't know.
You're probably sitting on a gold mine. You don't even know it yet. You will. You'll find out.
You know it.
You don't know it yet.
I don't know. I need to. It's just expensive. It's expensive to get cards graded.
We got a hookup. Remember, we got a hookup.
Oh
Yeah.
We got this Cowboy Bebop one.
AGS grading.
This Spike Spiegel one graded.
I mean, our boy, he got some of those graded too. Those Cowboy Bebop Trigun cards. So yeah, AGS grading. That's our hookup. We already got a little thing with them.
Yeah, I need to do that. I'll talk to them, see how much it'll be, because I don't want to send a whole binder.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug there. So we all know that the live action Avatar came out, right? And we haven't really talked about it on the show. There's been a lot of talk about for the first season and something that may happen in the second season. And I feel like this is starting to become a trend. We see it in Disney. We see it in other pop culture channels, people who create live actions or they create animes or cartoons, whatever it is, right? And it's the idea of not wanting to be or being so unoffensive or inoffensive, however you want to put that they become offensive to the community. So leading into the Avatar, there's scuttlebutt. We all know scuttlebutt means rumors, right? We don't know if it's true or not. There's rumors that Toph Beifong is not going to be blind because they don't want to offend blind people because of the jokes that she makes about herself in the show. And I'm like, so one, you may have saw my Facebook post about this. One, she learned earthbending quite literally from blind badger moles because she was blind and she snuck off and they took a liking to her because she wasn't afraid. Because we all know from the Avatar, the badger moles, they sense emotions. Like they sense emotions. They sense fear. They sense anger. They sense hate. They sense love. That's why Katara and Sokka and them had to get through the mountain and they had to like show that they were calm and love. They had love for each other, not like that, but like love. And so the badger moles let them escape. But they taught Toph how to use earthbending because she was like them, right? She learned metal bending from she created a whole different bending from being blind. She created metal bending from her seismic sense where she could bend the metal out because she was actually able to see inside because her senses were heightened. And just being blind is her whole character. Plus, you're not going to give representation to a disabled community, which is the blind community. You're also going to take away who she is as a character, which represents not letting your disability, because the original creators of Avatar explained a long time ago that they made her blind because they were showing that your disability doesn't have to hold you back. It can actually even make you stronger than you think, because everybody's like, oh, she's blind, like what's she gonna do? But she's the strongest earthbender we have ever seen. You know what I'm saying? And they were kind of doing the same thing that they did in season 1, how Sokka wasn't going to be sexist because they didn't want the sexist jokes when he was talking about Katara, when he was talking to Suki. But that's a part of his whole like character development. You're going to have no character development in the show. That makes no sense. The whole point is for him to be sexist and a child and immature so he can mature in the future and realize that what he was doing was wrong. Everything he was saying was wrong. And that brings the whole like General Sokka into play. That makes him grow up. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know if these rumors are true about Toph not being blind. That's just something I've seen consistently, but it's one thing. We talked about it before. We've had the conversations about like the Little Mermaid and things like that. If it doesn't change the story or it doesn't change like where they came from or it doesn't affect their character at all, then it's no big deal. But her not being blind will quite literally change her entire character.
Agree.
You know what I'm saying? How do you feel? How do you feel about it? I don't know. That just
honestly, I don't believe it. I don't believe a lick of it because it doesn't make, like you said, it just doesn't make any sense. Changing the fact that she's blind changes her character completely. Like I remember when they first announced that Sokka wouldn't be sexist, and I'm like, well, that's literally leads to how they originally found Avatar because he was being sexist against his sister, and she got angry, and she actually broke the ice and activated Aang, and he woke up essentially. So, with the changes they made when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I can still notice that it was different, but it was fine. I can get over that. But taking away that she's blind, that doesn't even make any sense. Because they don't want to be disrespectful to the blind community. They could just change the jokes, make new jokes, make all her jokes. Because she doesn't only make jokes about her being blind. She also continuously rags on Aang. So just make her jokes about continuously rag on Aang. If you really don't want to be disrespectful to anybody. So that just leads me to say that that's bullshit, and that's somebody trying to start a war or for people to be up in arms over this.
They want to rage bait people. With Sokka being the difference between Sokka being sexist and Toph being blind, the Sokka sexistness, it was like I saw the changes, right? But like it wasn't as bad, because don't get me wrong, and we can have a full conversation on Avatar. Like there are a couple characters in there that they're not getting the character development I think they needed. Zuko being one of them. But Sokka being sexist thing, that doesn't make his character, but that kind of does.
It definitely helped some weight. Where I definitely noticed it the most is when they went to Avatar Kyoshi's village. And he's supposed to have that whole interaction with the other girl. He's supposed to be sexist, and she's supposed to put him in his place. In the live action, and she just seemed like she was like, "Oh, I need him because I'm so lonely," and it's like the whole point was supposed to be a warrior. Like I hated that. That's the one point I can definitely say that change made me dislike that whole interaction. So
they made it a romantic.
Yeah, it was supposed to be romantic. I mean,
which takes away. I don't want to get into a full talk about this story, but like which takes away his interaction with the moon spirit. I forgot what her name is. The moon chick
I know you're
he fell in love with, because he wasn't supposed to be in love with Suki yet. He was just kind of there, right? And like, oh, she's pretty. Oh, he's cute. Like whatever. And then I meet the moon girl, but I'm like in love with her. And then she disappears, and then he's in a slump, and then he meets Suki again, and that's when they start to fall in love. But now he first fell in love with Suki, and then he goes to the waterbending place, and he's like, oh, now I'm in love with this girl. Like.
I mean, Sokka was always a player. Even in the Nickelodeon cartoon, he was staying a player.
Everybody else was a
bending elements. He was bending these hoes,
bending these backs. Like I've seen it. The only reason why I'm a little concerned about the Toph thing, and I hope I'm like 50-50 on it still, is because one, I've seen it from a lot of different articles. A couple of them have been slam websites, but other of them have been like genuine they will say these are rumors. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Like they won't say like, oh, this is confirmed to be true. They'll just say they're rumors.
of course.
But I'm concerned because so many shows and so many like different media outlets that put these shows out have done it. They've
Yeah,
done stuff
it
like
has
that.
happened. No, I agree.
And so it's kind of like it like nobody's gonna I mean people are gonna watch it because Avatar just like Star Wars, right? Like people are gonna watch it, but like
Offending the blind community is crazy though. She's literally like at the
destroying it.
hem of the blind community. She's leading the pack of the blind community. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't even make any
Until
sense.
Aang learns earthbending, Toph quite literally carries the whole team on her back.
I
Like,
would quicker believe that they're just going to cut Toph out completely versus not
yeah.
making that person not blind
So I've
because
been watching the cartoon. I've been making the kids watch it because I want them to get some culture in
making
their
the
body.
kids.
But I just got past the point right before they get to the Northern Water Tribe, and he already learned water bending long before he got to the Water Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
So like he already knew because remember they found the scroll from the pirates and they learned the water techniques and like all that stuff. He already knew water bending before he got there, but in the live action, he doesn't even know anything. He doesn't know a lick of anything.
I mean, didn't he like train with Katara and stuff? Like
Yeah,
she understood
yeah,
water bending much at a much higher level than she did in this live action.
yeah.
So when he came
They
to
learned the
her,
scrolls. They did all that stuff.
yeah,
They trained together. Aang did obviously surpass her when he first started because he's the fucking Avatar.
yeah,
But then when they get to the tribe, they both get taught by that master there.
mm,
And the whole story of like this doesn't like make the story, but this kind of pissed me off. The whole master that taught him and Katara at the Northern Water Tribe was supposed to be her grandmother's ex boyfriend, ex fiance, and he's mad at her because he knows who she is. If you don't remember from the cartoon,
mm.
he didn't want to train her for two reasons. One, because she was a girl, but two, because she is the result of his ex fiance's like
I don't
infidelity.
remember that at all.
Yeah, he was supposed to marry her grandmother, and she ended up stepping out on him with her grandfather, and then they had their kids, and then their kid had Katara and
Completely
Sokka.
missed that. I completely
Yep.
missed that one. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
understand. I definitely saw the whole. Oh, she's a. Are they gonna? Did they take a? I haven't finished the first season of Avatar. Spoiler alert for you. But did they ever? Did they get to that point in the first season?
the last thing we see is Aang becoming the water monster, the kaiju, and fucking up the Fire Nation, and that's the end of it.
Okay,
So they
all
go
right.
all the way through the Northern Water Temple, like everything that they're supposed to learn. But then they have their women, they have their Marvel women power empowerment thing that they have, where Katara gathers up all the women in the village and they go fight, which didn't happen in the cartoon.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and then they never get trained. She fights him. She fights the master like she does in the show, but he never trains her. He never trains her. He doesn't train Aang.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
question. I'm okay with this. I'm still okay with this.
I'm
They
not, but okay.
they change certain things. They
Yep.
learn different ways. They got to cut some things out. I get that for live action purposes. It costs more money to show every little thing. Fine.
Well, they should add a bigger bank.
The movie. You saw the movie, right? The original. You saw it.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Yeah.
From what is displayed from the end of season 1, is it better than what we saw from the movie?
The acting and the bending is better than the movie. However, I still think they fucked it up. Don't get me wrong, and I don't want this going to turn into a damn live action.
You're good.
But they still fucked it up in my opinion. And the biggest fuck ups that they did was one, the Avatar is supposed to be funny. He's supposed to be just this kid, and they made him so serious in this. Two, Sokka is quite literally the goat of comedy in this show. He is the absolute goat of comedy. And people were trying to make excuses where they were like, well, Sokka's comedy also comes from his body movements, and they can't do that live action. I said, no, you know how many times he just makes a joke on Appa's back or just standing there, and it's just the funniest shit on the planet? And then they made Sokka, again, super serious. And then three, the thing I hate the most out of this whole entire show is not that they took out little things here or there, like their little side adventures. Like I would like that to be there, but they whatever. Is that they made Zuko super sassy, and he likes his uncle from the beginning. Like in the cartoon, Zuko's like, how dare you change my course? Well, who do you think you are? Huh? He was like, I'll fucking throw you off this ship. I'll fucking beat you. I'll fucking burn you
I
alive.
mean, it
Like,
makes more sense for him to like his uncle in the live action, though. I mean, to be fair,
character
because who he
development.
was, like, he was a great general. Like, something happened. I will understand more Zuko having that respect for his uncle. And then his uncle making the decision he chose to go with Zuko. Like, I kind of understood that a little
I
bit.
need angry Zuko and not sassy.
You want
Zuko,
emo Zuko. Gotcha.
because that's who he was. That's that is quite literally like Sokka's sexistness. Whatever. Is like it was supposed to. So the character development, all we're gonna get from Zuko is like he likes his crew now. He likes his uncle, and then he's like, you know what? I don't want to hunt the Avatar anymore. I'm gonna go hunt him. Like, okay, or are we gonna get? I fucking hate everybody. I'm emo Zuko. I want to burn the fucking planet to the ground. I want to be the fucking Fire Lord. And then fuck you guys. Then the uncle's gonna like. The thing is, like, I don't know if you remember this from the cartoon. Zuko's anger is quite literally what drove his uncle away. And they were separated for a while. And Zuko had to go on a journey, self-reflecting, like a self-reflective journey, to realize that his uncle has always been there for him and that he loves his uncle and his uncle supported him, so he needs to go find him. That's when he finds him and tries to apologize to him. And this is like the whole thing when Zuko goes back to the Fire Nation. Iroh's in prison, like because of Zuko's anger, he turns his uncle in, like craziness happens. But he already likes his uncle in the show. So how are we going to get to the point in the show where Zuko likes his uncle and respects him already, and then to turning him in and betraying him and being like, oh, okay, old man, you don't want to freaking talk to me? That's fine. I'll leave you rotting in this prison, to then him being like, I really fucked up. I really need to get my uncle back, and I'm going to go help the Avatar train in firebending. Hello, Zuko here.
We're not doing that.
Like, exactly, and that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the absolute problem.
Okay, fair. I mean, some things, yeah, they're cutting some things out, and of course, on the forefront, it does seem like it's such a small change. But you're right; it's going to have a domino effect for things that's supposed to happen in the future.
You know, one thing I did lose it at, though, besides everything that's combined. So, have you gotten past the point where they go to the spirit realm with the Ko of the many faces?
I'm super early.
I don't know if I want to ruin.
No, go ahead.
If you want it. So when they go in the cartoon, they go to Ko, you know, the demon or the spirit with many faces, where if you show emotion, he'll steal your face, so on and so forth. Well, in this, the demon doesn't steal your face if you show emotion. It has nothing to do with that. Sokka and Katara both go to the spirit realm with Aang. They are wandering around, and Aang helps out the big creature that like walks on the toes, kind of looks like a kaiju as well. Aang is supposed to help it out, but the only way he can help it out is, again, if he goes to Roku Island, or Avatar Roku's island home or whatever. That's to get the souls back so he can go back to the spirit realm, help them out, so on and so forth. Well, Katara and Sokka go with him. They get captured by the Ko of many faces. They don't get their faces stolen. Aang runs away from Ko, shows all kinds of emotions, screaming, running away from this fucking monster. He then gets on his bison, goes to Avatar Roku Island, and then somehow, I forget exactly how it happens, but he gets inside Avatar Roku Island to talk to Roku. But the thing that bothers me is that Sokka and Katara are supposed to go with Aang to Avatar Roku Island because Sokka tries to blow up. There's like 5 dragon heads, and they have to shoot firebending in them to get into Avatar Roku.
Yeah, he tried to put the little things in all the mouths.
And he tries to blow them up, and Katara's like, hey, it already looks like you're in there, so how about we leave it here, we hide, and then when the sages come
and they open it.
They'll open it because they think we're in there. None of that happened. Aang got in there. I forgot how. Aang got in there from I think it was like a secret passage or some nonsense. I may be making this up. I can't remember, but it was something stupid how he got into the temple itself. And then Avatar Roku kind of did not help him when he exited. So like he did in the cartoon where he showed up and
turned into the Avatar form and flame on everybody out of the corridor. Yeah.
Yeah. And Katara and Sokka were still stuck in the spirit realm. Aang had to come all the way back to that island to save them, but they didn't even show it. They just showed him succeeding at Avatar Roku Island, and then the next scene cuts to like them waking up where they fell asleep to go to the spirit realm, and then they get on the Appa and they fly to the Northern Water Temple.
That's a solid story, bro. Like, we gotta understand we're not writers. We don't create stories. Like
I'm a critic.
we
You're right.
tell,
Not a
yeah,
writer.
we critique stories. That's not fair. We don't understand
That's
why
terrible.
that was necessary to change in the story.
Because
And we'll see.
I'm a deep dive. I'm a deep dive on you here. The reason why is because this is the first time, because Sokka is known as the engineer, like in after pre-Avatar things, and when he starts helping develop the airships and stuff like that. It's the first time we see Sokka's ingenuity that we haven't seen before, and this preludes us to Sokka being the one to invent a lot of stuff when he's older and during the war that comes
Is it?
during the
I thought he
solstice.
like
Yeah.
made weapons before this
I
point.
mean, he made like his boomerang, he made spears and
He
stuff
made
like
all this
that. But
stuff for the
like,
whole
but I
village
meant
too.
like his inventiveness. Like they didn't have bombs like that. His dad taught him that, but nobody's seen it. Nobody knows it. Like him making these bombs out of almost nothing from a bag was
Yeah.
like when Aang and Katara looked at Sokka and they were like, "What? You can make stuff like that?"
His
And he's like,
ingenuity. I love it.
yeah, I can make stuff like that. And this is the first time we see Sokka like contribute, really, you know what I'm saying, like contribute a lot to the group. And that's again part of his character development, along with being sexist, along with being immature. But in this, he's not immature, he's very mature, and he
Dependable. He does show
like
up and fight. Like, I mean, he does the same in the cartoon itself. But I see what you mean.
yeah.
I was just making a joke, bro. I think it's a bad change. Honestly, I started watching it. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes, and I was like, I wouldn't be mad if I don't watch the rest of this. Honestly,
I had to just because I'm a big, I mean, yip yip, you know what I'm saying, I'm a big Avatar fan, but like I just
I'm part of the
I don't
party
know.
of allowing people to have their creative liberty, and obviously, if they need to make some changes, it's either because it's going to be crucial to the story that they're trying to tell, budgeting. There's always a reason,
I
but
mean,
from what I saw, the changes they made just were needless. The first big problem, again, was the whole changing of the Sokka's sexist thing. Like, and I was
yeah.
thinking, like, watching when I got to the Kyoshi village, and I kept thinking about it, like, why did they need to change this? And that was one of the big reasons that made me say, I really don't need to watch the end of this. So I was
I
just gonna
mean,
wait for you to tell me.
it was
Hopefully we'll
honestly
wait.
a red flag when I found out that the original writers of Avatar backed
Mm.
out of the project.
I heard about that. Yeah, I remember that.
I was like, when they were super excited about it and
Mm-hmm.
super down and super ready to go, they were partnering with Netflix. They get a chance to do it right again,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden they're like,
Yeah, we're good.
"Yeah, we're good."
We don't
I
want
was
none of that.
like, I knew it when I heard that.
A
I
lot
knew
of
it was
people
down
said it.
bad
Everybody was like,
when I was
"Oh,
on.
this is about
Yeah,
to be terrible." Even
when
the
I was on
writers weren't getting
TikTok.
out.
Yeah, when I was on TikTok and I heard they were down bad, they were like, "Yeah, we're not doing this shit." I was like, "This is they're gonna fuck it up," because like it's just like you take out critical points of people's character development, but then you also take out just side stories. You take out like Jet. Jet was supposed to completely massacre an entire village, right? Of Fire Nation soldiers with like children, women, like kids, like all kinds of shit. That's what Jet was supposed to do. That's what made him a terrorist. This time, Jet was only trying to kill like a few people with a bomb in a building. Like that. Okay, like Jet was supposed to. We were supposed to fall in love with Jet, freedom fighter, fucking looks good. You know, Katara's in love with him, and then Jet's like, "Hey, by the way, I'm killing all 2,000 of them niggas down there, women, kids, everybody."
I think that was the last episode I watched when they introduced him, and we found out like he was like a terrorist, and they were like,
Yeah.
even Soko was like, why would you like you're stupid, like you completely
Oh,
believe this absolute nobody. He's obviously the bad guy, and you're
yeah,
still trying to believe him. At that point, I was like, reason number two, I don't like
yeah.
this. I
Like,
don't like this change. They keep adding. I
and
hate when they add multiple storylines together as if it
yeah,
all happened in the same arc. I hate that
yeah.
shit. The pirate shit just happened on the fly away. They took out too much.
The
It's
pirate
not the
didn't even
same show.
happen. That was
Exactly.
the
They
whole
took it away.
waterbending thing.
It just took it
Like
away.
that was Aang quite literally learning waterbending for the first time was
Hmm.
before they got to or after they got to Kyoshi
Yeah,
Island.
it was out to Kyoshi.
It was after Kyoshi Island. They stole from the pirates, and that was probably one of the most comical episodes I've ever seen. Like the
And
whole
it was
pirates.
supposed to like really bring into question Aang's like morality because they were stealing from the pirates. This is something like even because Aang was like, why would
Sokka,
you do that? Because Katara was the one
Sokka
who
was
did
like
it,
that.
right?
Yeah, Katara stole it. Sokka was like, "Why are you stealing?" And then she was like, "Well, I'm stealing from pirates." And Aang's like, "Ha, good one, Katara."
Oh, Aang
And
was.
then yeah, and then Sokka's like, it doesn't matter. She's like, who do you think they stole it from? They stole it from Water Tribe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just stealing it back. And Aang's like, well, we got it, so we might as well do it. And then that's when Zuko shows up and fucking the pirates show up. And then Aang has that whole funny moment where he's in the smoke crawling around. He's like, Sokka. And then he does airbending and then they're all surrounding him.
You're an Avatar fan.
Brings it in. I love Avatar.
This man knows everything that happened. Yeah.
I love the Avatar, bro.
And that's why I
have been watching it, but it's, I don't know. They took out so many side stories. It's like, if you're going to take the side stories out, at least keep the main thing the main thing. You know what I'm saying? But then they took the side stories out and then made the main thing not the main thing anymore.
Or so if you're going to take the side stories out, take them completely out. Don't take them out, but keep a small part of it and just throw it into the main storyline as if that happened along the way. I don't like that.
Don't get me started on fucking preteen Azula.
I haven't even gotten that far. Just see the names, and I'm just like
Ty Lee, Azula, fucking May. It's just the only one that's okay. Maybe is Ty Lee. Maybe like they're just not evil enough. They're not psycho.
I need them to at least look
Azula's
evil.
fire's not even blue.
I need them to look evil.
Like that's crazy
at the
to me.
minimum. They just look like some kids out there.
Bro, that makes her character her fire is not even blue. She's the only one with blue fire because it burns.
Her fire's not blue?
Her fire's not blue. It like they did a little thing where it started out like blue at her tips and then it just went to normal fire. And then they did a thing when she did her lightning thing, barely any lightning came out. It looked like one of them balls you put your hands on, and then like the things come to your yeah,
and make your hair stand up on end.
The whole like shit, and then she shot it, and it was like, I was like, this shit was. When Iroh showed it for the first time, when Iroh showed that shit on the mountain for the first time, it sounded like a fucking thunderstorm. Like it was like it made noise. Her shit was just like.
I mean, even in the cartoon, like her shit's supposed to be powerful. Like that's the shit that literally knocked the Avatar state out of Aang. So what are we doing? A little thunder shock.
Yeah. All right. I digress,
bro. You're not convincing me to watch this shit at this point.
I don't
like. From what I've just seen of people just ragging on the characters, it's like doesn't make me excited to finish it.
There's like two things. There's two things I like about this show.
Only two. Okay. What are the two things you like?
Four things, but they're short. Four things. One, the bending looks great.
Yeah, I agree.
The bending looks good. Two, I think the storyline sucks, but it like if I disassociate from the cartoon, it's its own thing. Sure, right? Three, these are instances. These are moments that I like. One, the whole the blue demon mask when Zuko goes to save the Avatar from General Zhao. Oh,
that was in there first season.
So that was in there,
okay.
Yes, which was good because they were able to. And then he put the swords to Aang's throat, pretend like he was going to kill him, and then he saved Zuko's life and shit like that. And they had the whole scene where they were together talking, and then he tried to kill the Avatar with firebending, and then he was like, "We could have been friends," and then and the Avatar disappeared. Great, they did that whole thing perfectly. The second thing, or the fourth thing, was they didn't do this in the cartoon, but they linked. So in the cartoon, they don't really talk about it that much, but Zuko's crew hates him. One, because he's a fucking evil like he's a mean asshole. He's not evil, but he's a mean asshole. He's not really a mean asshole.
He's a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick. So one thing I really loved that they did different in the show was they didn't like him. They were trying to turn him over to General Zhao, like his second in command or whatever.
I saw that.
And Iroh said, "Why do you think you were chosen to be on this ship?" And then they were like, huh? And then they told the story about how Zuko spoke out against, because remember, this happened in the cartoon as well. Zuko at the War Council spoke out against his father's plan to sacrifice an entire regiment of soldiers, like an entire platoon of Fire Nation soldiers. Zuko said, "That's not right. We shouldn't be sacrificing them. That's a dumb plan." And then that's when Fire Lord Ozai challenged him to an Agni Kai, burned his face off. And then he said, "Why do you think you were you specifically, y'all were chosen to come on Zuko's ship?" And they were like, "I don't know." And he said, after Agni Kai, Iroh said, "If you like them so much, how about you take them with you and don't come back until you find the Avatar?" He said, "You're only alive because Zuko stood up for you and spoke out for you." And then when Zuko came back after the whole blue mask thing, they got on board and they were like, "Attention," and they like stood at attention for Zuko as he walked down. And he's like, "What the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? I thought that was a beautiful beautiful change in the show.
Was that in
like,
the cartoon?
I was not. No, that wasn't in the cartoon at all.
I thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was in the cartoon. That's why I didn't really pay much mind. It was awesome. It was definitely a powerful moment. I was like, oh yeah, he finally got the respect. But one thing that I think I like the most about the show is the world building outside of just the Avatar crew. Like, you get to see the Fire Nation and what they got going on, the plans that they have, a whole bunch of different generals. I love that part. And the cartoon it just focused on the funny, obviously. It focused on what Aang and his little team was doing. Yeah, it was a kid's show, but this one's obviously for older adult audiences, so we want to see more of the what the fuck else is going on. Not the story isn't just this one secluded area, it's the whole world.
They burning people to the at the stake in plain view. In the show, in the cartoon, you just see like the fire go up, and then the camera would pan away, and he'd be like, ah. In the show, no, Fire Lord Ozai's like, yeah, go ahead, ignite.
So is it fair to say, hey, I don't like the fact that you taking away like the fun, childish parts of the show, but also say I love the fact that it's more serious in these aspects?
I didn't say I like that it was more serious.
I'm asking for myself.
I think you can keep this. I think you can keep the darker side of it and still add the other shit, like still keep it, because it's harder, in my opinion. It's harder to take things out of a story and try to figure out how it fits than it is to just leave the shit that was already in the story and add stuff to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, add a more serious tone to it, add a more serious conversation, add the whole person burning alive, just show him being burned alive. That doesn't do anything to the story. You know,
unless it creates stark differences where it's too light but then too heavy.
I don't know. I think you could still, because they still tried to do comedic relief in the show. It just wasn't done well. You know what I'm saying? And so I think they can still add that. Or if they want to take out the silliness, which, okay, leave the shit that was in the show already there, because not all their side missions, like the pirate shit, it wasn't all funny. I mean, yeah, the show very well harped on being hilarious. Like, that's what it was supposed to be. But, like, you can still leave the whole pirate interaction in there. You can still leave Aang and Katara learning waterbending on the side of the fucking... And Katara getting mad because Aang picked it up faster than she did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the whole point. Katara getting mad at him, and then she's really realizing, like, oh shit, I mean, like, you're really the Avatar. I can't be mad at you for learning this faster. How about we learn together? And then that's when they really form a bond, and then, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
Did they have a bond super earlier in the season than?
Yes.
Yeah, I started to pick up on that. Even like in episode 3, they're like, why are they seem to be so close? And then all of a sudden she's in love with this other guy. It's like, I thought y'all were like falling for each other. What happened? You just met this random guy?
Just like Sokka and Suki, and then immediately 2 days later he falls in love with freaking...
It's the day we live in. It's the day and age. It's all about the relations.
Hookup culture.
Yeah, hookup culture. The fucking and everything. They ain't fucking, but you know what I mean.
All right, everybody, that wraps up today's episode. Please leave a like, subscribe, comment, ring the notification bells down below. Please just hit the subscribe button. We're getting it. Just hit the subscribe button.
Do it, please.
Like, please your Annie daddies, right? So
that's him. Please, I ain't nobody does.
please us. No, but just hit the subscribe button down below. We'd really appreciate it. We're trying to bring out as much content as fast as possible. David does his manga corners. You know, we're trying to hit all the news, every little tidbit, your one-stop shop for anime news and super hot opinions, because apparently people don't like some of our opinions, but that's okay. That's all right. But next week. Next every week somebody got something to say, but go ahead and comment because it helps out the algorithm. Next week we will be hopping into our spring 2024 anime, and we got some bangers that are coming out. So I'm looking forward to it. This season does look really heavy on the returners, but I'm okay with that because some of these returners we've been waiting for quite a long time. I mean, a long time. One of them, he had to talk me into watching like 12 fucking times before I even watched it. Now it's my favorite isekai.
Yep, it's one of your favorite now.
So I think, I appreciate everybody. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.
Peace.